Can this truck tow? This 3.0 Duramax Diesel. We've had some pros and some cons on towing with this. 2,000 pound trailer, 4,000 pound car, brand new, way safe, Cerakoted hitch with that fluid filled gauge right there. Check that out. So we're just over 900%, and they say loaded up 10 to 15% nose weight. We are filled up. We do have a bunch of DEF with us. By a bunch, I mean 3 gallons, but we got some cool stuff we're gonna do. All right, so as you can see, this is my little box of fluids. What I'm gonna do is mid-trip, when I get down there, we're gonna add this to the cooling system for the charge air cooler, see if it does anything. That's just for fun. 3 gallons of DEF so we could top off as we go. Last time I did this trip just like this, similar trailer, similar setup, different car though, was 4.5 gallons used, if I remember correctly. We do have the arch oil additive, of course. Got some extra oil in there, and like I said, 3 gallons of DEF fluid. Top off if we need it, but it's full right now. But we are ready to go. Let me take a step back. You can see the whole setup, and where we're going is Las Vegas Motor Speedway. So we're gonna go do some autocross with this car. This is my first time out with the car. That's on a different channel if you're interested in it, Demon Works Motorsports. All right, we are starting off with 22,599 as our starting miles. I did just fill it up like I said, so I reset my trip odometer. We're gonna go ahead and pay close attention to that. And we are at 100%. These are the Banks iDash gauges. This is the dual setup with the stealth pod on there. You can get a single or a dual. If you're not familiar with the channel, I run the dual most of the time, so that way I can show more data. And now I can hold this button down right here, and it's gonna bring us to a different screen, which will allow us to see EGT 1, 2, 3. So we probably tap into that later on in the video, but we're gonna go back to the normal gauges. Here we are, we've got 391 miles to go. Like I said, full of DEF, full of fuel. Let's get going. All right, we are on the hill that I always record on, and obviously we're just humming right along. We're 18 miles out from Scipio, going south on the 15 here. You can see my intake air temperatures. So it's 46 degrees inlet, charge air cooler 1 sitting at 284. And after the charge air cooler, 88. So that charge air cooler is really working. I do have the PPE charge air cooler as well as the PP radiator for the charge air cooler. I think those two are working very well together. We are 87 miles into the trip. You can see DEF levels at 93%, so we are using DEF. I have not gotten one warning on the dash this whole time. And yes, we are humming along at 82. We're coasting right now, but we follow the speed limit. If you're not familiar with the channel, we do go the speed limit as long as it's legal while towing. Yes, there is our trailer back there. But sitting on 95% for regen percentage. My soot level is going down, and that's because the EGTs actually burn off the soot. And just like that, no time wasted, we have our first DEF warning right there. I was really hoping that that was resolved because I did do a recent programming update. Somebody on one of my videos posted on there that they took their truck into the dealer, got the most current programming on the reductant system. I checked, there was no update for that on my truck. This is a 24, and there was one for the ECM, so I updated it, and I was really hoping the warnings were going to minimize. Not the case. We're still getting the warnings much like before. Outside of that, this thing has been doing very well. No complaints. If you know me, you know I hate these warnings that pop up on the dash, but we'll keep on rolling. Yes, if I slow down, I'll use less DEF. We don't slow down here. We go the speed limit. All right, DEF range is slowly dropping down, or it seems kind of quickly dropping down. We do have 297 miles to go, and this is dropping. We're at 900 now. I'm confident we can get to our destination without any issue as far as locking out speed limited. But as this ticks down, it will say 65 mile an hour speed limited after this message right here. So we don't want to top off until that message comes out. That's per a bulletin that GM put out, which I think is BS. If the system's freaking out this much, then you really should be able to top off, or they just need to fix the programming. But we are doing a little bit of a hill climb right now. You can see my charge air cooler temps are in check. Really liking this setup. DPF regen 97%, so we will be hitting a regen pretty soon. But we're still we're trucking along. We're going speed limit. Everything is working smoothly. Trailer is smooth. I can feel it behind me. But outside of that, it's really not that big of a deal. Power wise on this hill climb, just trying to maintain speed. As you saw, it just upshifted, so it's doing just fine. We're in 8th gear right now, 79, 78 miles an hour. Speed limit is 80 miles an hour, but not a problem climbing up the hill. You can feel the trailer when you're from a stop and you need to accelerate. You can feel it there. Climbing up this hill, obviously I could feel it a little bit, but just holding 72 miles an hour, climbing up this hill. We're gonna go ahead and try to power up it a little bit more just to see what kind of power we've got here and what it does to the temps. As you can see, Charge Air Cooler 2 is climbing slowly. We're well under the numbers where it starts to detune itself, but inlet temps almost 300 and out of the cooler sitting at 106. Those are great temperatures right there. Intake air temperature at 48 degrees. That's obviously helping. Ambient air temp is 45 degrees outside. But climbing up this hill, no problem. Got 6th gear going. We are going to regen right as we get to the top of this hill. I say that because regen percent is at 100 right there. We're going to let this truck over. We got an upshift into 7th gear right there. Just moving right along. So can this tow? I would say, yeah, most people don't tow at the speed that I do, and obviously I push my equipment harder than most, as you can tell from the comments and all of my towing videos. But that's just the way that I operate, and that's, I don't know, it should be able to do it, and it does. The downside to that, obviously, is our DEF consumption. Our DEF level is at 91, 92%. Thanks to the bank's iDash gauges right there, we're able to see that. But we have got 108 miles. I have not gotten another warning since I cleared that one, but I can only imagine it's going to be like a 500 or 250 mile until reduced power type situation. But when that pops up, we'll go ahead and pull it up. But for right now, I'm happy. Obviously, we have the power to pull this 6,000 plus pounds behind us. This little 3-liter does put in the work, and it gets it done. So now we just clicked over to regen. Right at the top of the hill too, so we're going to be regen while coasting down. So this should be interesting, because I don't know how that's going to work out, but I'm going to go ahead and continue on and we'll see. Quick little restroom stop, and we are back on the road, 130 miles in. I did not get any fuel. I did not top off DEF fluid because we're actually doing good on our fuel mileage. So I figured we would just keep running it. And as you can see, our regen was completed. But light throttle, getting onto the freeway, the 15 south right now. Obviously we're going downhill, but not much effort needed to get it going. Temps are good, everything's good. These temps are good. Into the Charge Air Cooler, 300 degrees. Out of the Charge Air Cooler, 108, 109. We are accelerating. I'm not doing that on purpose, but we are. Just humming right along. Oil temp sitting on 234. I think the highest I saw this whole trip so far is 240. Currently no message on the dash about the DEF. I imagine it's just spraying it in like crazy right now. It'll pop on the dash right when I close this out. My passenger doing a great job with the video camera. I said video camera. There we go. Temps were climbing a little bit, but definitely under control for the Charge Air Cooler. Engine oil temp was climbing just a little bit. Nothing out of high temps, nothing concerning. No warning on the dash. I find that very interesting with that hill climb. You saw how quickly I was going. It was under load. And yeah, no warning. So that's very interesting for sure. And there is our warning. We got a 300-mile DEF range warning. We do have 231 miles to go. So we will get the speed limited warning on the dash before we get to our destination, because I'm not adding any DEF fluid. Now if I do add DEF fluid right now, that should reset that back up to 1,000 mile warning rather than the continual countdown. But like I said, we're leaving it alone, and I'll show you what the next screen is, because that's the one that shows your speed limitation warning, and that will actually lock out the dash. But we won't get too much into that. We'll wait till that pops up so you can see it. But we are sitting at 300 plus degrees charge air cooler temp 1, which is really high considering we are just cruising at normal speed right now. So that's interesting. I'm not sure what's going on with that. That may be a correct number, may be incorrect, but either way, charge air cooler is doing good work, because it's obviously dropping 210 degrees from that temperature. But we're going to continue on. As you can see, DPF regen percent is at 11%. It just climbs up even when soot level does not. Our regen distance is 385. That's just consistent. I think that's programmed into the ECM on these trucks. On the newer, this one is a 24 ZR2. Has the absolute most up-to-date programming, as I check it quite often. But 385 miles is where this is locked in. It's consistent towing, not towing. And prior trucks like the LM2 or the previous LZ0 truck, the 23, those ones would do roughly anywhere from 385 plus to about 700 miles in between regens, and that's just different programming. This one obviously will not let it go, but you can see def range 281 miles. It's continually ticking down. We are now on a grade, so we will this will drop down even more. All right, you can see our inlet temp 315. It is climbing obviously because turbo is making more heat, but we're approaching 320. Charge air cooler temp 2, that's the outlet. That is definitely putting in work. It's cooling very, very well. We just got a downshift right there. See how the RPMs help us. Is that going to make it higher or lower? Looks like it helped our temps for the short term there. All right, just to check in, 286.1 miles traveled, 16.8 miles per gallon. This is not hand calculated, obviously. We'll do that when we fill up, but average mile an hour is 71.6. So our speed limits out here are 70 to 80, just an FYI. 16.8 miles per gallon though, that's pretty darn good off of 286.5 miles, and that is with hills, as well as downhills, uphills, downhills, but we aren't towing. 6,000 pounds back there. I would say it's doing really good. Def level is at 75%, and we have not gotten a warning since the last time we got a warning, which I showed. So the warnings have been at a minimum, and I'm okay with that. We got 108 miles remaining. We will be stopping pretty soon because we do need to get some fuel. So we're going to stop at a station up here a couple miles up. We'll fill this up. I'm not going to touch the DEF fluid though. We're going to leave that alone until we get to the track. All right, we just filled up here. We got 22,892 on the odometer. The warning did pop up right there. I'm going to go ahead and hit enter. All right, so we've traveled 293 miles. 17 miles per gallon is what it shows on the dash. Here is our fuelie. Let's go ahead and see what this number says. 16.2 hand calculated, so close. I'll take that 16.2 miles per gallon towing any day. Now we still have another 102 miles to go, so the trip is definitely not over, but this is a good start. And as you saw on that warning there, we will probably get, well, I don't know if we'll get speed limited, but anyway, we're going to continue rolling, all filled up with fuel, so we're safe. Let's do it. Other way down there. Oh, I see. Alright, we are rolling in right now. Things are going to get hectic, so I'm going to go ahead and give the numbers right now. 395.9, 17.0 miles per gallon is what the screen is reading. We'll hand calculate that later, but we are arriving at our destination. This is only the first half of the trip, but we will get some more information together as we continue on. But DEF consumption, 68% remaining. I'm going to add 1 gallon before we depart. That's it, no more than that. Well, unless I can fit a full 2 gallons in there, we'll see. But that's where we're at. No further warnings on the dash about DEF. Very surprising. Thought for sure I would be getting one or two, but here we are. All right, we got the car unloaded. It's back there. We're gonna head out to the trailer. So the miles from here are going to be unloaded miles. So I know it's gonna kind of mess up the numbers with the whole towing trip. However, that's just the way that it works. And this will be an easy comparison to the prior video that had the exact same trip. Now we are def level 88% because I just added 1 gallon. When I started up, it said that I had 400 and something miles to go. So it did not reset like I had hoped. You need at least 1 gallon. So I guess I should have put in 1.5 gallons, but my mistake. Oh well, we'll continue on and we'll drive. We'll see what we got. Just outside of the speedway, filling up. We're not going to need a whole lot, but I'm not sure if I mentioned my PPE fuel cap here. I really like having a fuel cap on here because then you have to remove a cap in order to fill up with whatever it is you're filling up. So this, in my opinion, it minimizes the risk of actually putting DEF fluid in your fuel tank or vice versa. It also keeps out the dust and all the crap in there if you go through car washes and everything. They're spraying water. I think it's a great little item here, but the part number is right there. I'll have a link down in the description below, but super cool little cap. It's feels like it's all aluminum with a magnet on it. Super rad. Good tight fit seal. But we should be wrapping up. Actually, it's taking more than I expected here. There it is, 9.5 gallons. Let's go see what the numbers come out to. Adding in another gallon here. This will put us at 2 gallons which it did not. All right, we almost got a full 2 gallons in there for this trip out here to the speedway. We'll see what we got going back. All right, fill up miles are 23,064, 9.5 gallons. It's calculated on the fuel app. Looks like hand calculated, we got 18.1 miles per gallon. Now granted, our miles from the track to the hotel and back, we did some street driving, so that's going to show that improvement, but we have to add that in the video for clarification on that. But our return miles, we're about a mile or half a mile from getting the trailer right now because we're right outside the speedway. But I'm going to drive over there, hook up the trailer, get back on the road, and we'll see what our return trip looks like. All right, we are all hooked up, as you can see on the trailer. We're going to go around to the other side for the way safe, but that's our new exhaust right there, PPE. Single exit rear. Let's go over the trailer. We're all hooked up. We hooked up on the front wheels this time. I got the crisscross in the back. We're utilizing some add-ons that I put on there, Ford Performance little tow hooks. Got it set a little bit further back this time, just a little bit. Here we are. Sitting on what, between 700-800? We're dialed. Let's get out of here. All right, looking like 394 miles. Obviously, we're going to stop a time or two. 100% DEF level. 100% fuel level. All right, I turned off tow haul mode. We're in regular mode right now. We're gonna accelerate onto the 15 north right up here just to kind of see how it responds without it being in tow haul mode. We may even do not tow haul mode the whole trip back to see if there's any difference in DEF consumption. Roughly half throttle. We're not trying to race anybody, but we do have good pull. up this little incline. It is a small one. See, our temps are sitting, they're getting warming up, so we better go. We've got a truck and trailer. Quit goofing off. Now that was foot to the floor. We do 80 in the slow lane out here in Las Vegas, towing. All right, we switched over to sport mode, and I'm gonna stick with that for a while and kind of see how it reacts to that. We are monitoring charge air cooler temps right there, the lower right side. I did add the additive in there in the cooling system for the charge air cooler just to kind of see if there's any improvement. Now obviously it's not going to be 100% scientific because I'm in different conditions. It could be different temperature outside. We've got varying loads with wind and whatnot, but what I did notice on the drive out here was the charge air cooler would essentially get stuck around 300 constant cruising, and the charge air cooler 2, the outlet, would sit around 110 to 120, I believe, at its highest. So we're going to monitor that and kind of compare that. We'll be able to go through the video and compare the two temperatures, see if there was any kind of change that's noticeable on that. This has been a little bit of an incline right here, and in sport mode it actually, I have no complaints as of right now. It's handling the incline. It's doing a slow or a single downshift, not multiple like you would get in the tow haul mode with high revs. So that's a plus. That may actually help with the DEF consumption, keeping the RPMs lower. Going slower would also help with the DEF consumption. I know that. Feel free to comment about my crazy driving. My passenger is filming right now on a stick, so don't worry about that. Everything is fine. You can see DPF regen percentage is at 95%, and DPF soot level is at 11%. The numbers are so different because the DPF regen percentage is calculating based off of use, while the soot level is actual physical soot level within the exhaust system. And as we're towing, the EGT temperatures are actually higher, and that is burning off the soot within the exhaust system. So we'll see that lower number, and that 11% was just from normal driving. So we were actually at 0% the majority of the time. So the trip back, it'll probably sit around 0 to 10 at most, but we will hit a regen pretty soon, and then I imagine after that, no regens for the rest of the trip. All right, we've been going up a slight incline for quite a bit, leaving Vegas, heading out into Utah. I changed my lower gauge setup right here to read this screen. EGT 1, 2, and 3 on the left-hand side. You can see DPF regen just hit 100%. These are my temperatures climbing up the hill. So we're actually going to see them go up even higher once regen is activated. There it is, regen activated right as we got onto a hill. Added an additional lane, so that tells you that this is going to be a good one. Oh, I guess not. Left lane ends down, so we're okay there. You can see the EGT2 has climbed over 1,000 degrees. Our AFR is now sitting at 20 to 1. AFR is air to fuel ratio, so that's showing how many parts of air to 1 part of fuel. So the higher the number, the leaner it is. The lower the number, the more rich it is. You can see EGT3 climbing as well. So we have the DPF up to temperature right there, and you'll see the DPF soot level that has gone to 100%. It will actually start to drop now because we are at temp, so it's just burning off all of the soot that's within the exhaust system, and that will continue counting down until it reaches anywhere, I've seen anywhere between 25 to 50% on the soot level. And then it'll disengage the regen, and then as you continue driving, the number will actually come down as it's recalculating everything. And it, most of the time it goes to 0. The car next to me is driving on the shoulder. They were watching their phone on the YouTube channel, trying to find us. We've just got our first DEF warning on the dash. We have been in sport mode, so that made no difference. as far as DEF consumption goes. I have noticed that it'll hold 10th and 9th gear more, as right now we're 10th gear. Let's go ahead and click it to tow haul real quick. Notice no change there. We're gonna go back to sport because I was enjoying sport mode. Did a downshift right there, dropped 2 gears. When we went into tow haul, it didn't do that. All right, so I just changed these two right here, charge air cooler 1 and 2, so we can still see all the EGT 1, 2, and 3 while we're going on this regen. We are doing a bit of a hill climb here, just downshifted, hit 9th gear. We're gonna go ahead and go around this truck. You can see the charge air cooler working really well, 275, and it's only at 79 degrees. Ambient air temp is 50 degrees, so we're not too far off of ambient air temperature right now. We're climbing up here. We're 1 mile from Overton, Logandale, if that helps anybody see where we're at. What I noticed from the trip out here was that we would hit that 300 mark and it would kind of stay there for the majority of the time. So let's see if that continues with this or not. Pretty good. I'm not having to step on the pedal very much. We are under the speed limit, obviously, but we're on a hill climb. I could give it more. Well, let's just see. Let's show the power of this thing, I guess you could say. We are in regen. We are not foot to the floor, because if you go foot to the floor, it's actually going to cancel the regen. In my experience, that's happened, and it won't restart until you restart the truck. At least that's what I noticed one time. I'm not going to attempt that this time around, but we're not going foot to the floor. Probably a good 3/4, 80%. But you can see it climbed up that hill. Honestly, I want to say it's really no issue at all. It worked up that hill, not a problem. You were able to see the EGT temps. All the temps were maintained, even while I was in regen and hill climb. The system's pretty good. I know I talk a lot of, I show a lot of the negatives, but I also show the positives, and that's one of the positives, is I do believe the system is actually pretty good. It does chuck DEF, and we know that. Once you know that, you can accept it. These DEF warnings get excessive. That's my frustration, is when they start locking you out of your screen here. But luckily with this one, this little countdown, I can just hit the dismiss. We are a-okay. That's gone for now, but it's going to pop up whenever I hit the 500 or 300 mile mark remaining. But as you can see, 69% for the DPF soot level, and the regen has deactivated. We are at 23,112 for miles. I don't recall the starting. I don't even know if we filmed the starting. As you can see, the temps are coming down. The DPF regen percentage and soot level are coming down, just as I said that they will continue coming down as we're driving. But there's the temperatures. Our charge air cooler is doing pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and switch it back to the other screen. That's just by holding this button down. Okay, we probably shouldn't do that. There's our EGR active. Here's my page 4. Different temperatures. So you can set these all up for whatever you want. I love this. Fuel temperature was sitting at 77 degrees. That was pretty good. Level 87%, even though it shows full on there. And there we go, DEF level is 97%. Wow, we got that warning quick. Charge air cooler temps, 300 inlet, it's at 97 outlet, over 200 degree drop. We've been going for quite a bit up this grade. DPF regen percentage sitting at 3%, soot level 0%, so it's gone all the way down. Every once in a while this glitches out. Left turn signal. That's not my left mirror. Did not happen on our trip out, but it is happening on our trip back. All right, we are stopping for fuel. 87% on the DEF level, 23,226 are current miles, 159.9 miles traveled, 15.0 miles per gallon. That's the drive summary, not the total drive. We have 234 remaining. Let's fill this up and see what numbers we get. All right, let's see what our total was. Hand calculated 13.8 miles per gallon. Lots of hill climbing. It's a rough start there, 13.8. Def range limited to 278 miles before it starts to speed limit me to, I believe it's 65 miles an hour. As we are on flattish ground right now. We're still in sport mode, so that appears to not have made any change whatsoever on any kind of efficiency. But it still does drive well. No issues with that. So let's clear this out. Alright, looks like we're going to be getting limited pretty soon. We are sitting at 70%, but yeah, our def system is upset with us right now. Def low, speed limited soon. So the next screen that will pop up will be speed limited to 65 miles an hour with a countdown of 1,000 miles. So I'll lose all of my dash display until that is done with its panic attack, which means add some def fluid, and hopefully it'll reset at that time. But we got 82 miles to go, so we will be getting that screen pretty soon. And before we lose our dash, here's what we've got: 23,380, 155 miles traveled on this drive itself. So roughly 16.8. This is on the dash, but again, we have 81 miles to go. We'll see how far it's going to let us go. Ending miles 23,462. We're showing def level at 64%. 236.9 for that final leg right there. 863.5 total. 16.8 mpg showing on the dash. We go into the trailer profile and you can see we've got the Demon hauler. Total mileage 831 miles. That's with the trailer hooked up. Average fuel economy 15.99. We'll check that out and see. I want to show a little something on the dash here. There is tow haul reminder, gross combined weight alert. Obviously I have those turned off. Theft alert. What that's going to do is when you park it overnight, it's going to flash the lights a little bit. They'll be real dim. And if your trailer is disconnected, it's actually going to sound the alarm. So I suggest you turn that on. Maintenance alerts, that's all good stuff. That's all in the trailer profile right there when you set up the trailer. But anyway, let's go fill this up and see what our final count is for fuel mileage. All right, just fired it up. Right after filling up, we got the def low, limited, speed limited soon. We actually did not get speed limited this whole trip. That is absolutely amazing, and I'm thankful for that. We will still get our total on def, but this stretch we did get 16.2 miles per gallon, and that was a improvement over the last fill up. So that's pretty darn good. Let's go ahead and top off the def fluid and see how much we used. We did add about 1.9 gallons already, and that was before we left on this return trip. So let's go see what that is.